Happy New Year and welcome to All Top 5s. Now I try not to take a political stance on this channel, but most people would agree that some fairly bad stuff happened throughout the year 2016. So, in optimistic fashion, here are 5 really good things that happened in 2016, and that hopefully we can build on in the years to come. Number 5. Health. One of the most pressing problems in the world is hunger. An array of hope shone out in mid-2016 as the Global Hunger Index announced that world hunger was at its lowest point for 25 years. Compare this with how it was quarter of a century ago. 17 countries were at the extremely alarming level of hunger, with alarming levels in 25 other countries. Now it's fallen to 0 at extremely alarming and 8 at alarming. There is still a lot more work to do, but this is a phenomenal decline that is being linked to the spread of democracy around the globe. Just the month before that good news was another great boost for health. Announced by the World Health Organization, the deaths caused by the devastating disease malaria have fallen by 60% around the world since the year 2000. This is attributed to bed nets, indoor spraying, and new cutting-edge therapies. Although it's still a huge problem, of course, this amazing 60% drop shows that the world is still on track to eliminate malaria from at least 35 countries by the year 2030. And it's good news for disease control in wealthier countries too. A series of publications announced that in 2016 it was discovered that some of the biggest problems in the first world, namely heart disease, dementia and colon cancer, were in decline. The latter is the most puzzling of all. Although improved colon cancer screening and treatments have played a part, experts still don't know why the number of deaths from the disease are plummeting. Still, it's a happy mystery that I hope we'll see apply to more diseases in the future. Number 4. The natural world. Now it's not just humans who have had some good news in 2016. Certain animals have seen incredible reversals of fortune too. One of the biggest success stories is the tiger. Massively endangered and on the brink of extinction for years, the tiger has been declared finally increasing in number once again. The WWF announced that in 2016, wild tiger numbers rose for the first time in 100 years, a wonderful feat for all the hard work put in by conservationists over the century. They plan to double the population by 2022. In another brilliant move for animals, wildlife officials in 2016 declared that a great number of critically endangered animals near extinction had been taken off the list because their populations had risen. One of these was the green sea turtle, or certain endangered populations of them anyway, who saw a great increase in their nesting females in Florida and Mexico. The world's most threatened whale, the humpback whale, was desperately threatened after human hunting up to 50 years ago worldwide, but as of 2016, the creature has now fully recovered. It was hailed as a true ecological success story. The hilarious manatee saw a similar boom in population too. Towards the end of 2016, the giant panda, once close to extinction due to habitat destruction, has been removed from the endangered list. It's still vulnerable, but it's believed that the total population is over 2,000 now in the wild, higher than it's been for many years. A triumph for this beautiful creature. Of course, these animals are still in danger and under protection, all of them, but it's still a really good step in the right direction, and it all happened in 2016. Number 3. War and civics. This section, regardless of your beliefs or opinions, is about human lives being saved. Nothing more, nothing less. No politics. One big milestone that was reached, it was announced in 2016, was that the death penalty is now illegal in over half the countries in the world. Although the number of executions appears still to be on the increase overall, the number of countries who have now outlawed capital punishment has risen to this important goal. Organisations such as Amnesty International are working to increase this number of people outlawing the death penalty, and they're trying to put it in the past. In a similar vein, war and violence on the whole appeared to fall again in 2016. It can be hard to believe that sometimes when you look at the news, but a really interesting statistic about peace was announced that year. With the ceasefire met between Colombia and the FARC rebel group, the Western Hemisphere became completely devoid of political war. To look at it another way, almost all the war still in the world now is in an arc that runs from Nigeria to Pakistan, and it now only involves less than 1/6 of the global population. It's still a huge problem, and of course there are still terrorism, murder, drug gangs and so on, but 2016 has seen the first marked reduction in war violence since 2010, and it's something that may continue. Number 2. Environment. The world itself had some promising news in 2016 too. Whether you believe all the evidence for climate change or you deny it, it's irrefutable that keeping an eye on our planet to make sure we don't do it too much damage at least is a good idea. And that's what the historically monumental Paris Agreement has done. In April 2016, this enormous agreement was signed at a UN Convention on Climate Change, and when I made this video, 194 countries had signed it. However, it officially went into effective agreement, meaning that enough people had signed it to make it work, in November 2016. It's an ambitious convention to halt climate change and lower greenhouse gases and emissions. The world smiled on that day of success, and now we've got to make it all work. Similarly, 2016 saw a quiet milestone pass on the environment front in the form of global carbon emissions from burning fossil fuels. Total overall emissions did grow, but by a lot less than previous years, and that carbon released into the atmosphere by burning fossil fuels such as coal did not increase at all in 2016, despite decades of increasing emissions. This is very likely thanks to China taking important steps to reduce pollution and begin to cut coal consumption in the country. Could this be the plateau that leads to an eventual fall in fossil fuel emissions? We'll see, but it started in 2016. Finally, I do want to mention Costa Rica. In the mid-20th century, Costa Rica abolished its military altogether, instead focusing on its citizens' well-being and its environmental impact. It has spent decades protecting its wildlife and habitats and pouring money into becoming the first carbon-neutral country by 2021. It's been named the greenest country in the world by numerous organisations, and in 2016 it hit a fantastic milestone by running everything in its entire infrastructure on only renewable energy for over 100 days. Just renewables. Now they plan to do this for an entire year soon, but 2016 did see this other incredible step to protect the world we live in, made by Costa Rica. Well done. Number 1. Wealth and giving. And for last, I want to talk about charitable giving. One of the most progressive and impactful things a human can do is to share what they have with others. And there have been some absolutely jaw-dropping donations in 2016 that do help a little to address the problem of distribution of the wealth. The richest man in the world, Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft, is well known for his Gates Foundation and brilliant work in Africa helping those in need. In 2016 alone, the foundation pledged another $5 billion in charity to Africa, much of which is focused on malaria prevention and eradication. Warren Buffett, the third richest man in the world, also gave $2.9 billion to charity once again in 2016, and his son, with the billions that he's inherited, carried on spending it on sustainable agriculture and solving hunger. All of this without much fanfare too, making it all the more commendable. Charitable giving by those who aren't billionaires should definitely also be praised. 2016 saw a rise in donating from online crowdfunding for vulnerable people, and China was reported to have raised $15 billion in charitable giving, up by 1,000% in the last 10 years. Well done 2016. All this is great news and shows that we're heading in the right direction trying to help our fellow humans. So perhaps 2016 wasn't too bad a year after all. The best we can do is learn from the mistakes and triumphs of 2016 and do all that we can to make the world better in the years to come. And that's it from All Top 5s for this week. Please do try and be nice in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and share it, and you can hit the subscribe button for weekly videos. So peace and love to each and every one of you, and I'll see you all next time on All Top 5s.